Welcome to Daily Crypto Episode 12. We've got a snapshot here of what's been happening lately, and, well, it's a whirlwind, like always in crypto. Let's just dive right in and see what really stands out. We're seeing some interesting movements across the board. For you following along, it paints a picture, maybe, of a market with some pretty varied energy right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you look at the big players, Bitcoin's nudging up maybe 1.5%, Ethereum's showing a bit more life, up over 2%,
Right.
which, for assets that size, those aren't insignificant moves.
Suggests continued interest. Yeah, definitely. And it's not just the usual suspects making moves.
Yeah.
Solana and XRP, for instance, they're showing even stronger gains. Solana's up, what, over 7%? That's a pretty notable jump.
It really is.
And XRP is climbing steadily, too. What does this tell you? Like, where's the enthusiasm concentrated?
Well, what's fascinating is you see this parallel activity happening in the meme coin space too. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they reflect maybe more established trends, right? But then you look at coins like Shiba Inu, Pepe, Bonk, and especially Popcat. Wow, that surged over 13%.
13%?
Yeah, it really highlights that more speculative, community-driven side of crypto. Kind of underscores the diverse motivations and forces that are always at play here.
So, yeah, while some folks are maybe tracking the long-term growth of the majors, others are clearly playing the high-stakes game with meme coin rallies. Now, it seems like what's on everyone's minds kind of lines up with some of these moves. Bitcoin, XRP, and just crypto itself are all trending topics. Why do you think these specific terms are dominating the conversation right now?
It's likely a mix, isn't it? The price action, definitely. Bitcoin moving up always gets attention. XRP has its own whole narrative, which I'm sure we'll touch on, keeps it in the spotlight. And crypto trending generally, that just suggests, broader interest in the market's direction, maybe looking for opportunities.
Right, okay. Let's dig into some of those developments then. Shardium, a Layer 1 solution, has confirmed its token launch for May 5th, finally, after some delays. Now, for those maybe newer to this, Layer 1 is like the foundational blockchain itself, yeah.
Exactly, the base layer.
So Shardium arriving means a new base for apps to build on. What's the potential significance here, a new player like this?
Well, the key thing with Shardium is its approach to scalability. They use sharding, which basically breaks the blockchain into smaller, more manageable pieces, or shards.
Okay, sharding.
Yeah. And the idea is this could lead to faster transactions, lower fees, addressing some bottlenecks we see elsewhere. So a successful launch can definitely spur some innovation, maybe add some healthy competition in the Layer 1 space.
Interesting. So yeah, for those looking at the infrastructure level, Shardium is one to watch. Okay, another headline grabbing attention, Binance. Reportedly in discussions with some countries about setting up strategic Bitcoin reserves. What are the implications there if actual nations start holding Bitcoin in their reserves?
Oh, that's potentially huge. I mean, if that trend really catches on, it could signal a major shift. Bitcoin moving beyond just, a speculative asset toward something seen as part of a national financial strategy.
Right, like digital gold, but for countries.
Kind of, yeah. And that could have really far-reaching effects on its stability, adoption, maybe even its legitimacy on a global scale. It's a big if, but still.
Definitely one to keep an eye on. Now here's a different angle. Regulation.
Yeah.
Always a hot topic. The SEC is holding a crypto custody roundtable. And a big VC firm, a 16-seat, is pushing for self-custody for registered investment advisors, or RIAs. So RIAs manage investments for clients. What's the core of this custody debate?
It really boils down to who holds and controls the crypto assets. Who has the keys? Self-custody means the RIAs themselves would directly manage their clients' private keys. More control, but also, more responsibility for security.
Right, more risk maybe.
Potentially, yeah. And the SEC naturally is focused on investor protection. So they're likely exploring different models, maybe third-party custodians with specific regulations. The outcome here could really shape how institutional money flows into crypto, or how it's managed anyway.
And, we've seen the potential downsides of the market too. Not all news is rosy. AER Go had that sharp crash recently. Over 70%, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brutal. Happened very quickly.
And there were rumors swirling about Binance manipulation.
Exactly. Just rumors, mind you, nothing confirmed. But it's a stark reminder, isn't it? This market can be incredibly volatile, and perception, even just rumors, can have a massive impact on price.
Absolutely. Highlights the risks involved.
Precisely. So while we see some positive momentum overall, you get these events that just underscore the inherent risks and, frankly, the influence major exchanges can have. Need to be aware.
Yeah. definitely. But okay, despite those kinds of reminders, there seems to be some optimism building around XRP. Even with things like the mantra collapse shaking trust in some areas, analysts are saying the potential for an XRP ETF is actually sparking institutional optimism. Why? Why the positive outlook despite turbulence?
Well, a lot of that optimism probably stems from the ongoing Ripple legal case. Any perceived progress there or signs pointing towards a, let's say, favorable outcome for Ripple could clear the path for an ETF.
Okay, the legal hurdle.
Right, and an ETF would just open the floodgates potentially for a much wider range of institutional investors to get exposure to XRP without holding it directly. So it's that potential future demand that's likely fueling the positive sentiment we're seeing.
Makes sense. And speaking of ETFs, it seems traditional finance is still finding ways into the crypto space, even indirectly. VanEck, they're a pretty well-known asset manager, right?
Yep, big player.
They're planning to launch a Node ETF in May. But this one focuses on crypto-related stocks, not crypto itself.
Exactly. So for investors who maybe aren't comfortable holding digital assets directly, or maybe the regulations for them are tricky, this kind of ETF offers a bridge. You invest in the publicly traded companies that are part of the crypto ecosystem, miners, exchanges, tech providers, etc.
So indirect exposure, another way to play the trend.
That's the idea.
Okay, and looking maybe further down the road where future development might come from, Mike Novogratz's Galaxy Ventures Fund is aiming to raise, what, $180 million for crypto startups?
Yeah, a pretty significant chunk of change.
That suggests there's still strong belief, despite the market ups and downs, in the long-term potential here, right? The innovation pipeline.
Absolutely. VC investment like this is really a vital sign for the industry's future. It's the fuel for developing the new technologies, the new protocols, the applications, basically the stuff that will shape where crypto goes next.
Right. And we also saw some partner content mentioning the constant search for the next big thing, like a new altcoin aiming for the top 10, and some analysis suggesting Lightchain AI has huge growth potential compared to SHIB or DOGE. It's just a good example, isn't it, of that rapid pace.
Yeah.
New narratives popping up all the time in the altcoin market.
Oh, definitely. That's just part and parcel of the altcoin world. Extremely dynamic. But, while these narratives offer that potential for huge returns.
Yeah, moonshots.
Exactly. They also come with significant risk. It's so crucial to approach that part of the market with a lot of caution and do your own research. Really dig in.
Sound advice. So wrapping things up a bit, as you can clearly see, the crypto market is, well, dynamic is an understatement. There's a lot happening. Price moves, regulatory talks, new projects launching. Staying informed means trying to connect all these dots for yourself.
Yeah, you've got these potential shifts in institutional sentiment we talked about. You've got the just inherent volatility of altcoins. And then the regulatory landscape is always shifting, always evolving. These are really the key areas to keep in your sights as things unfold.
Definitely. The confirmation of Shardium's launch, those reports about Binance and Bitcoin reserves, the SEC's custody discussion, it all signals this ongoing evolution, doesn't it? And this slow, maybe sometimes bumpy integration of crypto into the mainstream.
Yeah, it's happening piece by piece. And remember that contrast we saw, right? You have shaken trust from something like the 8-year Argo crash.
Right.
But then you have real optimism around things like potential ETFs. It just perfectly highlights the uncertainty, but also the opportunity that kind of defines this whole space.
Well said. A lot to keep track of. Join Daily Crypto for real-time market updates.